Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Jacqui Van Ham, your girl in the know for all things motorcycle. Welcome to your Choppertown Daily, your middle of the week motorcycle news, events, bikes, things, stuff, roundup that I like to do in the middle of the week. Welcome back everybody to all of our top fans. I can of course see your comments. Thank you for tuning back in. And to all of our new watchers, hola, konnichiwa, guten tag, bonjour, and bonjour. No, I am coming at you. Obviously, I'm here in my home shop, my home studio, as I should say, here in Kentucky, and it is just a frozen wasteland tundra out here. Oh my gosh, it is covered in snow and ice and awfulness, and next week is going to be 50 degrees. So that's what's going on here in Kentucky. But I am staying warm with my little wiener dogs. They're here on the couch with me. They're fighting over a toy, so there might be some sort of dog fight breaking out here in just a minute. In case you're wondering if you hear any strange noises going on, that's what's happening. I've got my two little co-hosts, Dewey and Willie, with me today. So thank you for tuning in. I've got some kind of cool news, some new bikes, some new patents that were released, and of course some events that are coming on for this weekend, which means racing, right? There's not, and actually, no, I take it back. There is an event going on down in Florida this weekend as well. So as always, thanks for clicking, liking, sharing all of these videos. And now let's get down to today's program. So the very first story I wanted to bring you today, I'd seen this actually a couple of days ago floating around. I finally clicked over on it and read it, and I thought it was just really weird and interesting. And I love weird and interesting. If you're a regular watcher, you know I love totally nerdy, not particularly good looking, but very utilitarian based bikes and cars, actually both. So this I thought was really kind of interesting, and it totally reminded me of another bike that I like from BMW that everybody hates, that is totally polarizing. So I'm going to have that wrapped up in this story as well. Let's get down to it. This is from cycleworld.com. This is going to be BMW is developing a safety bike. Providing crash protection for riders is something that's usually left to clothing and helmet makers, but BMW has long been one of the few companies to explore how bike designs themselves could mitigate injuries from accidents. Whether it's the C1 scooter, which I'm going to show you in a second, from the turn of the millennium, the simple and clever three-wheeled concept duo from the mid-nought, or the carbon fiber roofed electric bike that was revealed in BMW's own patents last year, the Bavarian firm has long been trying to find a way to keep riders safe in the event of a crash. Only Honda has shown a similar level of interest in bike-mounted rider safety with its airbag-equipped Goldwing, and a decade ago, a long-since canceled plans for a Viffer 1200-based sport tourer with a front crumple zone. The latest design to emerge from BMW's R&D department once again pursues crash protection, but dispenses with the idea of a complete roof, instead featuring a tubular roll cage around the rider's back and head. However, an even more fundamental rethink in the bike's layout as the rider is moved backward away from the most likely point of impact and allowing a feet forward riding position. So take a look at this crazy patent rendering that's going on the screen. You can see the cage to the back. That is where the rider of this bike would be sitting back there. And basically, because of this cage and the way that this frame is designed, I mean, look at all that room. You could damn near fit a car seat in there with seat belt attachments, which is probably the absolute intent, because this looks very, very, very similar to another much hated BMW design, the C1. This was manufactured by BMW from the year 2000 to 2002. While this is rare as hen's teeth here in the United States, I've seen these live and in person sprawled all over Europe. These did sell not super terrifically amazing globally, but these still can be seen and found and live in Europe, and every once in a blue moon you'll see one that was imported here to the United States. Anyway, this is the C1. As you can tell, it's got a full roof that goes over, it's got a windshield in the front, it's got storage in the back. It's got the little crash guards on the sides where your head would go. It had a seat belt. This had all sorts of bells and whistles on it, but it was on that super narrow scooter base. So this, to me, was super genius, particularly for really, really crowded city centers. This makes perfect sense. You still have coverage from the elements, but you can zip in and out of traffic. It's easier to park. You can park 10 of them in the spot that, a car takes up. Just really, really fascinating design. However, people just hated it. Maybe it was too advanced. Maybe it was too soon. So I think that they're kind of putting their thinking cap on again and trying to decide how to solve this riddle of making this vehicle, this two-wheeled vehicle that's narrow and small but still has protection. And this patent was actually released several years ago, but it had a bit of a timestamp on it, and they requested that these don't get reduced, or these don't get revealed to the public for multiple years. So I thought that was super, super interesting. The secondary steering tube connects to the bottom of the frame, creating a stout front section ahead of the rider to absorb front impact. So that was really, really interesting to me. Although the power unit is missing from the design, it's likely that this is intended to be an electric, urban-focused vehicle. So like I just said, I think that they just kind of were rethinking what I think is very, very cool, but you probably hate, rethinking this C1 and trying to bring it up to speed for the 2020s, which means it's probably, like 99% probably, going to be an electric vehicle. It's going to be covered. It's going to have safety elements to it. It's going to have a seat and seat belt and all sorts of other jazz. So I think that it's really interesting. And like I said, BMW is already committed to electric power. Last year's registered trademarks for a whole range of electric bikes and scooters. The first of these trademarks has been already turned into reality with the unveiling of the near-production EC04 scooter, but the variants still have another related name, EC02, in their trademark armory. Interestingly, BMW filed these designs with the EU Intellectual Property Office back in August 2018, but requested that their publication be deferred until now. So I thought that was super, super interesting. The implication is that the firm intended to officially unveil the machine using this design before now. It's quite possible, indeed probably likely, that the design was to have been shown at an event in 2020, perhaps Intermot or EICMA motorcycle shows, which were both canceled due to coronavirus. Now, speaking of EICMA and Intermot and BMW also announced this past week that they will officially be withdrawing from any further trade shows. COVID or not, they are not interested in participating in the trade show space in the near future. That means they have withdrawn from, IMS here in the United States also was canceled this year. They're going to be pivoting to an IMS outdoor type platform. Nobody really knows exactly what that means, but they are heading towards dates across the United States, a touring type show in the summertime season. Hoping that COVID will be tamped down by then, hoping that the weather will be better across the United States, better than it is now, certainly, because it's freezing and disgusting out. And for anybody that is in the middle part of America, particularly Texas, oh my goodness, big hugs, high fives, thoughts and prayers and all that stuff go out to you guys. We were having a hell of a time here in the middle part of the US. Anywho, so that's going on with IMS Outdoor, but BMW did announce that they will be withdrawing from EICMA, Intermot, IMS. They are not doing trade shows for the near future. What they want to do instead with that money is yet to be announced. The belief is that they'll be doing a little bit more of a really hands-on demo experience utilizing their dealership network. That would be my belief. But none of those have been announced yet. That is purely me just speculating away there. So that's what's going on from the folks over at BMW. Another motorcycle that was just released today. Look at me bringing you all of the scoops here at Choppertown to all of my fans out there. This motorcycle was just released today. This was released in India. This is an India-specific bike. I brought this bike to your attention several months ago, and this is the relaunch of the Honda CB350. Now, this has kind of a weird name, like the Highness or something weird like that overseas. This is an overseas-only project for now, but here's what I can tell you, is that in India alone, this bike was the Highness, not this Scrambler. This was announced today. But the Highness that this is based off of, which of course I forgot to grab a slide, but it looks really similar to this, but is more street. Anyway, has sold over 10,000 units since it was launched in fall of 2020. So if this bike is doing this crazy cuckoo well in Asia market alone, you had better believe that this thing is going to be coming to the US. This is just how it works, my friends. So I am super pumped that CB350 Street is super, super kick-ass, and now feast your eyes on this dead sexy scrambler version. This is the CB350 RS from Honda. This is strictly an India market only product, but it is just a stunner. Remember that time Honda revived the CB350 to go after Royal Enfield and managed to get everyone's attention away from the incoming Meteor 350? That was a little over 4 months ago. And like I said, in those 4 months, 10,000 units have sold. Only a few days after the new model's debut, there was talk of Cafe Racer and Scrambler versions already in the works. The name CB350 RS also started being tossed around as a potential addition to the lineup. So today, they went ahead and, it was yesterday. Anyway, it was super, super new. They launched it today. They dropped the video. Let's take a look at it right now. So look at this. Feast your eyes on this gorgeous bike. I'm sure I'm just talking over some music because I know they did not release any video of this thing actually running. But I love this. I think that is just super kick-ass. Finally, a smaller seat height, smaller displacement scrambler. It makes sense. It looks kick-ass. It's released by Honda, so you know the fit and finish quality is going to be just bonkers. LED lights, of course, all over the place. It's got a beautiful digital touchscreen, or not touchscreen, but a beautiful digital gauge up on the front. It has selectable torque control, which means you can change it depending on what you're using this bike for. And I think it's dead sexy. And look at that bike. It comes in that yellow and black. It also comes in red. I think that is just absolutely gorgeous. And again, this was released today or yesterday over in India. The new RS is meant to look like a scrambler, but definitely doesn't exactly scream off-road. That's okay by me. I still think it's phenomenal. And between you and me and the rest of the motorcycling industry, 90% of the scramblers that are made never see dirt anyway. So who are we fooling with these crazy, huge, very, very tall, very, very heavy scrambler type bikes that are never ever going to go out in the dirt? You know, they look awesome. I want one desperately, but they are so stupid tall. They make no kind of sense. This bike in India sells for approximately $3,000. I think it is just a stunner, and I cannot wait for this to come to the US. They've not announced that yet. It is still just Asian market only, but I got a feeling about this because it's just been burning down the internet. So that's what's going on from the folks over at Honda and BMW for this week. Now let's talk a little bit about some events. The folks over at American Flat Track Racing have already released their schedule. As what's been going on for the past 12 months out here. All schedules are very, very wishy-washy and up and down due to COVID. There's nothing folks can do about it. I'm not talking smack. It just is what it is. But they've definitely confirmed that their very first 2 dates of their season will be back down in Florida again. It will not, however, be at the Daytona International Speedway, which is how they've kicked off their season for the past several years. This will be at Volusia. This is a half-mile, real, legitimate dirt track, not the nonsense they were trying to throw inside of Daytona International Speedway, which was just a train wreck. This is an actual real track with actual real racing, and it's 2 days. It's a doubleheader. This is going to be on March 12th and 13th, the back end of Daytona Bike Week, which is coming on up here in short order. I will have a Daytona-themed show for you probably in the next week or so make sure you hit the notifications on button. You are not going to want to miss it. And in further American Flat Track type news, they are starting, a lot of press releases are starting to drop now because we're getting really, we're only less than a month out from the first race. So you're going to start seeing tons and tons and tons and tons of news coming from the American Flat Track Race Camp. Just today, I believe, or yesterday, Bronson Bauman, who had previously been part of the Indian Motorcycle factory team has been let go, has been released out of his contract. He had 2 years with them, which is totally normal for Indian Motorcycle. Unless you are on the top of the box, you are cut loose after 2 years. That's just how they do over there, and that's okay. That's the, it was a 2-year commitment. Bronson, however, put up a hell of a fight. It was always awesome to see, especially when him and his brother, who is the current 2 years in a row AFT champion, Briar Bauman. It was awesome to see the two brothers up on the top of the box. That was always really exciting to see those brothers go back and forth. Bronson, however, will continue racing. Progressive American Flat Track Super Twins competitor Bronson Bauman announced today the formation of his own Mission Super Twins effort aboard an Indian FTR. After 2 successful seasons riding for the factory Indian team, Bronson will field his own program with support from Indian Motorcycle of Oklahoma. So he will be carrying on. He will be continuing racing in the Super Twins, which is the premier top class. And that's cool news. I mean, at least he's keeping it going. It's hard when you get released from these great big huge factory efforts with all of that delicious factory money and support and things and stuff. It is very difficult to continue on. So I give anybody who keeps their race program together and keeps going out there and kicking ass all of my high fives, all of them, all of the time. So that's what's going on over at AFT. Also, just this past week, Harley-Davidson announced $250,000 in contingency money from Harley-Davidson. However, that sounds rad, and it makes for a really very kick-ass press release, $250,000. But there's really not any Harley-Davidsons running in the series. There's only a handful. Now, I know, I'm showing you a slide on the screen. James Rispoli won the production class on a Harley-Davidson last year, which was super awesome. James Rispoli, however, also just kicks ass and is a hell of a racer, period, hands down. But he did have that bike dialed in, so this is super exciting and good news because he will be back on that XG750 from Harley-Davidson, and he will be bumping up to the Super Twins class. So that's really interesting and very cool. But how many other Harleys are going to be on the grid? 2? 3? I mean, it is what it is. It's cool. Congratulations. That's awesome. Maybe the whole point of this is by Harley throwing so much money at the program, they're hoping more and more people buy these XG750s and decide to come out and go racing. So I get what it's for. No shade, but a little bit of shade, maybe just a little bit of shade. Shade light for me about this. But it still is cool news. I wish James the best. He's an aces human being and a kick-ass racer, and I know that he will be super fun to watch. As far as events go, there's only a handful of things going on this coming weekend, both of which are in Florida, one of which is going to be another round for the folks over at Supercross. This is round 8. This is going on in Orlando. This has been a great season so far. 8 races in, and it's anybody's win. Ken Roxon was looking really good for a couple of races. Cooper Webb won last week. Who knows what's going to happen over Supercross? It's always super exciting. That you can be guaranteed of. So anyway, they've got a race going on February 20th. It starts at 6:30 p.m. Doors are at 5:30. This is going on at the Camping World Stadium in Orlando. Also going on in Florida this weekend, it's going to be Thunder by the Bay. This is going on this entire weekend, and the folks down there at Born to Ride Media are going to be doing a lot of coverage, providing a lot of coverage here on Choppertown, here on Facebook, showing off all of the rad bikes that are going to be entering the custom bike show. So those are all of the invited builders that are on your screen. So he will be, of course, showing the bikes, doing some interviews, doing some behind the scenes, all sorts of kick-ass stuff going on down there. I was hoping to head down for it, but man, hotel rooms down there are a gazillion dollars. So while the flights right now are really cheap, by the way, if you need to travel anywhere, flights are super dirt cheap. Hotels and Airbnb are kind of crazy in Florida right now. I don't blame them. I would love to be in Florida right now. I would love to be leaving the snow and going to Florida, so I don't blame them. But anywho, it was a little too pricey. I couldn't make it, and I got to get ready to head to Daytona next week anyway. So that is what's going on out here in the world of motorcycling. Speaking of, look at the slide on your screen. Daytona Bike Week, the official kickoff here in the United States of the motorcycle riding season, is March 5th through the 14th. It is real. It is happening. There's tons of cool shit going on. I will make a show about that. It is going to be really good. You're not going to want to miss it. So make sure you come on back. That show will probably be next Wednesday. So come on back. Make sure you hit that notifications on button. You are not going to want to miss it. What do you guys think about today's show out there? Lots of cool events, some really, really weird stuff from BMW, and some really delicious stuff coming from Honda as always. Man, they crush. They make such beautiful, beautiful bikes, and I have such a soft spot for all of, particularly their retro bikes, the Grom, the Cub, the Trail. What else have they made? All of the Monkey, all of their retro stuff. I just have got the most painful, lustful feelings for. So this CB350 is no exception. It's just a stunner, and I can't wait to see it in person. I don't know when that's going to happen, though, but I can't wait to see it in person for myself, and I can't wait to ride one, and I also don't know when that's going to happen. But I always do my best to bring you all the best news, and you better believe if I see it or get a chance to ride it, I'm going to be here on Choppertown with it. So make sure you hit that button, click, like, subscribe, give me a like over my page, slide into my comments, tell me what you think about today's show, and I will be back on Friday with a Fun Fact Friday. So make sure you come on back. As always, thank you so much to my show partner for the past year, Vroom Retract Vac, vroomyourroom.com. It totally sucks, and it's supposed to. Support the show and pick up something kick-ass for your home or your desk or your workshop at KentuckyBuilt.com. These are light fixtures that I build myself out here in my workshop for motorcycle parts and awesome stuff that I have laying around. KentuckyBuilt.com. Thank you so much, Choppertown family. I couldn't do it without you clicking, liking, and sharing all of these videos with your friends. I'll see you on Friday.